It's figuring itself out. All right, broadcast is live. And now we will go here and load it up here.
Produced by
two guys.
There's a NPR group where they always say, produced by speaking into microphones. I always get a chuckle out of that.
That's good. That's very good. All right. Let me make it so that people can actually see your face. That's better.
For a while, I worked with Miracle Productions. If it got produced, it was a miracle.
That's good. All right. I wonder why it's saying please stand by starting soon. Maybe I hit pause. No. It should be. There we go. Cool. It's coming in. Okay. So it's now going out to everyone. So now we can. Good. All right. That's it.
Maybe.
No, it's fine. I paused it so it's not pulling in data.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that mute.
Yeah.
So it didn't come out of that.
Good point.
Okay.
All right, so we have about 10 minutes to go before we officially begin our show.
T-minus
10 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
I think it'd be nice to maybe
brought to you by a sack of rice and sake.
Ooh. It'd be nice to get a Raspberry Pi and set up with a screen and do it like a countdown timer. Or even a count up timer saying, we've been going for 38 minutes or whatever. So it might be a nice thing. Nice little program.
Really cool app for doing all sorts of count down, count up, multiple counts. Nice. I got to hunt down where I put it, but yeah. I wonder how would we put that on a Pi though? Because I think it was designed.
I could write a script, and that's easy enough. Yeah.
Teach me, Sensei.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
That would be so cool.
That'd be a good program.
That would be a great program.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do that.
So, do you have a studio? Hey, check this out. We've got a program for you.
And I have been working more on the Raspberry Pi game, so it's getting pretty close to. Well, it's playable. So we'll also have to play around with that too.
I like pie.
And again, that'll be a good set of tutorials about how to do audio and video, and audio and animation and such. I'm actually going to hit the little boys' room.
Okay.
I know I'm going to need to. No viewers yet, so no worries there. And I mean, if they come early and see us just standing there, that's no big surprise.
Okay. The one that's down the hallway is fully stocked. The one that's in the master bedroom may not be stocked. So
I'll go all the way down.
Just caveat. Now, in the meantime, let's see. So, let's see. We've got that in the background. See what I can surf onto over here. And how to keep the shot so I can see what I'm doing here. And let's see. I can. There we go. First one in there. And let's see. Is this showing? This is showing that. My sumo cup. I feel like Mr. Bean saying that. Let's see. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And it's always fun to try and get. Hey. Hello and welcome. We'll be back in a few minutes to start the show. This is the pre-show show, so it's probably not going to be as thrilling as when Brent gets back, but just reviewing some notes here. Stay tuned. Where is that coming from? That is over there. Okay. Oh, we do have the so I have a bag of sweet rice and I believe some plum sake sitting on set. We were talking about the potential for doing a mochi show. And I'm curious what you guys think. Should we do it? How to cook mochi? Mochi? I think that's how it is. Sweets. With red bean paste. Red bean paste. Makes me hungry just thinking about it.
Musashi knows I'm here. Hello, viewer.
Musashi were you here when you caught a rabbit?
Yeah. Let me switch this over because we're not doing Yamada first. It'd be fun to talk about color this time. A lot of interesting use of color this time. Let's get this queued up.
The light does highlight that pretty well.
It does, yeah. It comes out quite nicely.
It works, yeah.
Can I jump? Let's see here. Where that could be any number of places. Okay, yeah, that's that's that. This again. Stop and restart. Sometimes it just stops queuing it up, and you have to. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there we are.
I wonder what the volume threshold is for YouTube to snag stuff up. We've got some.
Good point.
Making mochi is fun. Hey, we've got a vote.
Hey, excellent.
Yes. I was talking about our rice here.
Nice. Yeah.
Sake.
Exactly. Okay, so the audio is down on that.
Welcome for another action-packed episode.
Exactly. Hey, Moss's Closet. Is that where you're watching us from? Your closet?
I'm in
the closet. Yeah.
If we don't get the air conditioning on in here, we may be doing this show from another location. Later summer, it may get hot.
What were we talking about? And now on Culture Shock, the sauna, the bathhouse.
This is almost a sauna. I feel like I just got out of a bath.
I feel like I'm still in a bath. Yeah, that's okay. I could use a bath. All this poison ivy. Ugh.
Oh, if there's any plant that should be outlawed, it's that one.
No kidding. Burn it with fire.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. I was talking with my dad the other day. He's coming into town for Father's Day, and cool. He was saying he has no appreciation for mosquitoes, except for now he's realized that they keep certain things fed. That's the only redeeming quality of mosquitoes.
Yeah. Should hire some rabbits to help make the mochi. Sounds good.
Oh, that's right. We mentioned the rabbit. Yeah. My
Usagi mochi.
Rabbit mochi. Oh, we did a culture shock with all the different the
different bento things. Yeah.
Every time I hop on the internet, I see new and creative ways that people have designed food, and it's just mind-boggling how creative people are.
Yeah, we have I have a paste extruder coming, so hopefully we'll be able to 3D extrude chocolate and icing and such. So once that arrives,
if it doesn't turn out, you get to eat it.
Exactly. Yeah, there are no downsides.
There are no downsides.
Unfortunately, it's a Kickstarter, so it's 9 months late. Crazy day for streaming. This week is E3. That's true.
E3.
Forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, we'll be starting in a minute or so here, guys. Just letting everyone in there. Hey, Awaken Deep Blue. Good to see ya. We'll be talking about Haruhi in a few minutes here.
10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll be starting in just a couple minutes here, just so everyone gets a chance to come in. While you guys are coming in, we'll talk about this in Horizons, but that anime convention I've been threatening everyone with, we launched the Kickstarter today.
Today!
Yes! So if you go to Kickstarter and look for Otaku Brain Trust, actually.
The Brain Trust. The Brains. The Brains.
So Otaku Brain Trust is the convention. Back if you can. If you back, you get access to the videos and hopefully live streaming once we actually do the convention. And if you can join us, we'd love to have you out in Leesburg, Virginia for the con in February of 2016. So, yeah.
February 2016.
That is correct. Yes. Yeah.
So now if I'm going to check out Otaku Brain Trust, how do I jump to that site? How do I contribute?
You go to Kickstarter. You go to Kickstarter.com and type in Otaku Brain Trust. It should pop that up. And you can. You're right. They've changed the chat a little bit. I think. It's like it's more spread out somehow.
It does look a little different.
Yeah, but and then there'll be backer levels on the side, and so they'll tell you if you pledge $3 or $5 or $10, whatever, what you get, and you'll click on whatever pledge level you want, and then it'll take you to a page where it confirms that, and you enter in a credit card information. And you can also link it to your Amazon account. If you use Amazon, so it'll kind of go through Amazon, and you can pledge $35, get you a badge, and then there are other things for, like I said, about $5 to $15 will get you access to the videos and/or transcripts of the videos. So if you just want the text of what we talk about at the con, so about 10 panels. Yeah, I wonder if they're doing an interface update for E3. I wonder if they're going to get so much traffic for E3 that they're like, well, now's the time to clean some things up.
Could be.
All of my posts are in yellow. Oh yeah, so that must be the fact that I'm the owner / moderator. They're giving me the little yellow bar there. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So shall we?
Let's get started. All right.
Roll it.
Oh, that's right. And the way we do that is the same way every time, isn't it? Because we normally start with
about somewhere around. Hey,
I hear a sound. I think that's the sound of
the open
of smoke
and mirrors.
Welcome to Smoke and Mirrors, everyone.
I'm Smoke, and this is Mirrors. Oh, wait, no. I'm Mirrors, and this is Smoke.
And so today we are talking about Haruhi Suzumiya, episode 4.
Haruhi.
Which is quite the episode. Because we're getting into some really fun territory here with Haruhi. Let's get this out.
I gotta say, at some point, I watched a lot of History 2 channel, and it seems like they're the channel that likes to blame everything on aliens. and it's always amusing. And if you watch too much of it, then you start to think, well, maybe, possibly. And so I went to I think it was it the MUFON site or one of the sites, and I started looking into, well, how does one become a UFO investigator?
Oh yeah.
And there's actually a program because they want legitimate investigators.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they're selling a course that you got to take, but it helps everybody approach it from a scientific background rather than just random people reporting crazy stuff, which, I mean, well, UFO sightings have that reputation, and they're trying to keep it very orderly. And this episode reminded me of that quite a bit, because it is filled with those kind of things that should be reported to MUFON.
Well, here's the funny thing about the episode is that it starts as this very typical high school comedy with this wacky girl who just wants to find weird things, and then you start finding weird things, and it becomes all about these other characters all turn out to actually be well, time travelers and aliens and espers.
Esper's a new word for me. I haven't used that much.
So that's a thing that came out in Japanese science fiction as a term for telekinetics, people with psychic or telekinetic powers. So what we would call, I guess, psionics or psionicists, people with psi powers, they had the term esper from ESP.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. But for some reason, just they evolved that term. We evolved a different term, over the course of time. So we started the episode with that again, and I mentioned last time that this whole sequence with Yuki is very Serial Experiments Lane-like. And
very.
Yeah, and that really came, especially the background music is this very weird sort of low-key electronic music, which is not like the music in anything else in the series. It's very reminiscent of Lane, talking about this whole weird thing. And one of the reasons for that is that Lane has a lot of its own. It has some alien stuff in it, and it has a lot of stuff about
extra normal stuff.
Exactly. And so they're kind of referencing that here to kind of remind everyone of those things. And what's funny is how Yuki just talks, and she just throws out all this terminology and all this stuff about this data integration engine thing.
The most talking we've heard from her ever.
Absolutely.
And this is now this was the 4th episode.
Mm-hmm.
So she's up until now, I think she said maybe 10 words.
Probably.
Well, apart from being on film.
True. Yes.
Or
yeah,
film
true.
and video. On the student project, it looked like.
Yes. Yeah, words of her own, I guess. And she's very serious. She's very straightforward. Kyun has a bit of a difficulty believing all this, as we might understand.
Understandably, yeah. It's so what exactly is explained to him? She is here on.
She's here on Earth to observe Haruhi Suzumiya, because 3 years ago, a huge burst of data came out from Earth, sort of dispersed from Earth, and it centered on this, would have been a middle schooler at the time, called Haruhi Suzumiya. And it spread throughout the universe and was picked up by this this alien entity that became fascinated, and so sent Yuki. And you notice she mentions myself and others like me.
And others like me.
Yes. Were sent to Earth to observe this Haruhi Suzumiya and find out what the heck's going on.
Reinforcing Haruhi's statement when she was in school. Only talk to me if you're an alien, a time traveler, or an esper.
Yeah. And so we certainly got one here. And so Kyun's trying to understand all this, and we're back to sort of normal colorization here as we have a simple conversation. It's still a little unclear as to what was going on with that actual color scheme, because there's the implication that Yuki is doing something to actually change the nature of the room in some way. But that's, we don't quite know.
Every time I see that book, it just my eye is drawn to it. I just want to delve into the story.
Yeah, Hyperion's a great novel too. So then we get our transfer student.
Haruhi magically appears.
Right.
Transfer student.
Isn't that convenient? and Haruhi just cannot contain herself. She's so excited.
Drags him in by his arm.
Here's an interesting little moment when Kyun and Mikuru start playing Othello with each other. And it's actually Othello. They call it that, which is nice. And then Yuki comes up and decides to sit down and play with Mikuru. And you notice Mikuru's attitude is very concerned. She's very uncomfortable talking with Yuki. And you wonder why that might be. But then
transfer student.
Here comes the transfer student, who seems to be this completely normal guy, Koizumi. And he's just, okay, fine, I'll be part of your thing, whatever. He does say something that interested me. He said, as expected from Miss Suzumiya.
Yeah, how's he know? He's a transfer student.
Exactly.
How's he expect these things?
Yeah, that's very strange.
I like how she introduces everybody. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. She didn't say henchman, but something like that. You know?
I think member number 1, number 2, number 3, and you're number 4. Okay. And so, all right, so now we have 5. So this is one of the key points.
Club.
Yeah, exactly. They needed 5 people for the club. Which is good.
SOS Brigade.
SOS Brigade, which again makes no sense. Poor Mikuru messes up again. And here again, we're mentioning
in at the perfect times.
He sure does. Every single time Miss Asahina Mikuru is changing, Kyon manages to take that moment to come in.
So it's not a bunny this time; it's a maid.
It's a maid costume, which she now has to wear at all times. She's forced to take photos in the maid costume, despite how embarrassed she is. It's funny how Mikuru is like Yuki wouldn't care. Haruhi would be happy to do it. The one person who is most embarrassed by this.
That's the one you want for the photos. And show more cleavage.
Show more cleavage. Oh. Put on the glasses.
Of course, Kyun's not going to stop taking pictures.
Of course, yeah, no. I'll do that. I'll keep on taking photos. He even puts the camera down to check how many exposures are left. Make sure it's okay. So, yeah. And then Kozumi comes in. What the heck is going on?
And the glasses.
And the glasses.
Gotta put the.
I love Yuki doesn't even stop reading. She just keeps on reading. Which actually, that's a kind of a hint.
Yeah, she doesn't need those glasses for reading, does she?
Interesting.
If we're to believe her, she's an alien life form.
Yeah. Why would she need glasses?
She doesn't need glasses to read. Is she really reading? It's just absorbing it through osmosis.
Good question. So now we get another declaration from Haruhi about the point of the club to find mysterious events and people. And so she announces they're going to go do that.
She is the cause of the club.
She's
the founder. She's
exactly.
We're going to do this.
And we do that by going searching for
on Saturday.
On Saturday we're going to go.
Saturday afternoon we're going to turn over every square inch until we find mystery. Because we didn't get an email.
Right. Yeah, because no one's emailed us for some strange reason. Oh boy, Haruhi. So here you start seeing the characters in a normal everyday attire.
Her penalty for being late is pretty stiff though.
Yeah, death. She's a rather intense person.
So they're going to split up.
Yep.
And they draw straws, the equivalent of it.
and actually, again, here's another kind of hint. Everyone's in their everyday clothes.
Not just
because it's Saturday.
School clothes.
Right, except for Yuki. Yuki's still wearing her school uniform.
That. Yeah. You're right, she is.
Yeah. She doesn't have any.
She doesn't have any clothes.
Apparently.
Well, it seems the aliens don't come with a full wardrobe.
Right, exactly.
She doesn't. Planet, who knows?
Why would she need extra clothes?
Yeah.
So fortunately for Kyon, he gets paired with Mikuru, who he has a little bit of a crush on. I think we can tell that from now.
She's cute.
She is, absolutely.
And so timid.
She's more the traditional Japanese housewife kind of a model, I think. And so they're walking along for her first time. And there's a beautiful bit of animation here when she finally kind of gets up some courage to talk. When they've been talking a little bit back and forth, and it's also nice how nice Kyon is to her. But she finally decides to move forward here.
The rosy.
Yeah, and she runs forward and turns around. And with that's kind of slow motion effect of her hair moving in slow motion, saying, "I got to talk to you now." Really a beautiful moment.
The walk in the park.
Yeah, very romantic. And here's where she realizes that she explains that she's actually a time traveler.
Confidential. That's
classified.
That's classified.
And we get another. But a different kind of stylistic difference here. Because we start hearing her voice layered over itself. And again, I think it's trying to get across that idea of time travel, that we're hearing things at different times layered over each other.
Time traveler, because she is a time traveler.
Yes, she is.
Or so she says.
So she claims.
She claims to be a time traveler.
Yes, but she can't explain anything about it.
She can't go any further back than 3 years ago, which is that same magic number we heard.
Right.
3 years ago. Information cloud. 3 years ago. They can't travel back in time to any further than 3 years ago.
Yeah, they're locked out of history before that.
Something funny's happened 3 years ago.
Exactly, yes, and all centered around Haruhi. And we get to mention here that she talks about how when we came back in time.
Yeah, who's this we? Are there others?
I don't know. Well? It's an interesting question. Must be. Another thing I want to mention here in terms of animation, when she starts explaining things, they actually do an animation glitch to show what she's talking about. So when she starts talking about how it's kind of like interstitial frames in animation, they show a leaf going down the water, and it actually glitches to remind you that, you know, things don't have to move sequentially.
There's a glitch in the matrix.
A glitch in the matrix. And it's a really interesting way of reminding you. And again, it's this kind of breaking the fourth wall that this series likes to do.
It's really interesting that she's talking about time in using the concept of film, the frame by frame by frame, sort of sequential pictures. And it's funny to think of time as, instead of a linear flow, segments of sequential flow. And that's an interesting concept.
Yeah,
because it means that they could be reordered, changed around, and the glitch can occur, can be observed if that's the case.
Well, and she talks about a time plane, which implies multiple dimensions. And so you wonder kind of how all that fits into things. It has a very nice sort of Stephen Hawking feel to it, of being, because time is a function of space. So it's interesting how I'm curious as to what she actually means by that. Of course,
now Kyun's curious also.
Yes.
And he's trying to get something out of her, and she just she clams up.
Absolutely.
She tells him enough to whet his appetite to make him want more. But she won't let him go past that point.
Rather understandably, I think, if what she's saying is true.
If he's to believe her.
If he's to believe her. And this is one of the other problems with any kind of science fiction story, is that if there really is all this stuff going on around Haruhi Suzumiya, it would be in their interests not to tell the full truth.
For their safety. Who knows?
Exactly.
If somebody's a time traveler, who knows? Well, what would most people do if they're... Hey, everybody!
It's a very good question. I have no idea.
What are the scores of the future?
Yeah. Well, the fact that she's from the future means that she knows what's going on, presumably. It's already happened. Unless there are multiple... Well, she mentioned this time plane. Maybe there are multiple timelines.
Future potentials. There's this path that leads to this branch, and this path that leads to this
makes
branch.
Sense.
Sort of clouds
of
potential futures.
Yeah, interesting. And Haruhi is the key to it, of course.
She seems to be the center in all these strange phenomenon. She herself is strange, but these characters she surrounded herself with are definitely strange.
So then they make it back, and we were talking about lip and mouth movement here. I love how they represent Haruhi's expressions.
Her lips. You get an angle where you can just see her emotion on her lip. Oh, they're back at drawing straws. Lunch.
And poor Haruhi just does not get there. There we go.
The pouty lips.
He just does not get
and then the
wants.
Expression of her. Very, very good emotional.
They are
visually visual representation of emotional.
I particularly love in this shot when she's when they're at McDonald's.
All the W's
stuff. How she her mouth opens up and then she grabs the cup there, the straw. And so here's the thing: why is she angry at the straw?
That she did not like the randomness that befell her. She wanted something more intentional.
And so here's the interesting thing. I mean, who did she not end up with either time? I wonder. So So off Kyon and Yuki goes to the library.
The library.
Yeah, which makes sense.
If I was an alien, I'd want to learn all the knowledge I could.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and I love that Kyon's idea here is I just want to not do anything the rest of the afternoon, so I'll just take Yuki to the library. She'll be entertained. I can kind of nod off for the next few hours.
He falls asleep in the library. That's funny.
And then gets her a library card. She has no idea what to do. She's got him standing there. Yeah. Right.
Here's how it works on this planet.
Right.
Maybe there's some credibility to these people's stories.
True. And again, the running off.
Oh.
He likes that. Haruhi is not amused because they haven't found any mysteries. Well, she hasn't found
them. Well, he's not allowed to tell her.
Right.
For her sake.
So here's the thing, each person.
She won't listen to what he says.
Well, yeah, pretty much. Neither Yuki. Yuki doesn't want to tell Haruhi because she says she doesn't want to kind of upset that balance. That if Haruhi really is capable of all these things, she doesn't want to, change her intention.
Yeah.
Mikuru won't say. She said, I can't explain why you can't do that. Here again, what wonderful expression on Haruhi's face. The curved down eyebrows with the pouty lips. Really nicely done. And again, I love this. I actually laughed out loud when I first saw this. That Kyon comes in, sees Kozumi, and goes, "You probably have something to say to me too. Let's just get your conversation out of the way.
I've already got too weird, folks, and you just magically appeared. So let's get right to it."
Yep. They sit down, and this is probably the least exciting of the three.
Yeah, he's like, I am strange, but I can't really use my powers unless everything aligns and it's a special circumstance of some sort. So.
Yeah, not very exciting. But he is a member of this group of espers who have already infiltrated the school, and all of their powers manifested when?
3 years ago.
How interesting!
That magic number again.
All centered around Haruhi.
I wonder what Haruhi was doing 3 years ago.
Indeed, that is a very good question.
Does she have a past beyond 3 years ago, or is that where she began?
And that's what Kozumi here even says, that a lot of them in their organization believe that this world started to exist 3 years ago.
That's a very bizarre belief.
Yeah.
Who knows if time travel is possible and aliens?
Right. And that's the thing, is that, if Haruhi really has these godlike abilities, she could create a world and give everyone the memories that they had.
So they think they did.
Pieces, right?
But if people outside of that world were thrown into it, they may have trouble with. Well, what happened before? What happened before the Big Bang? Well, there was no observer to.
Exactly. Yeah. So as far as Kozumi, in Kozumi's group is concerned, Haruhi is God. Haruhi is literally God, which is quite.
That's kind of scary.
It is. God is an hyperactive high school student
who likes her friend to dress up a cosplay.
Well, friend, kind of loosely.
That's it's an unusual group. So
it sure is.
So that makes me wonder what Kyon's doing with them. How does he fit into this whole puzzle?
Right. Because, and Kozumi says, "I've done my research. You are completely.
You are a normal human."
Yeah. So what's going on?
I'd wonder if I was like a test subject or something.
Exactly.
Are these guys running? How will he respond and react?
Well, and again,
aliens or time travelers or espers?
Who knows? Maybe they are testing him. And of course, they don't want to. They don't want to upset the balance of God and have her completely reset the world.
And he can tell her anything he wants, but she won't.
She won't believe him.
She won't take him seriously. And we see, like, immediately after that, he tells her all sorts of stuff. She doesn't take him seriously. She's like,
yeah, so true.
He seems the most level-headed.
He does.
Out of the group.
Yeah.
If we're just talking about normal people.
Yeah. He seems to understand, what's going on. I also want to point out the wonderful attention that they had to continuity here. You see both the bunny girl outfits are over on the side of the table. Just to remind you, those are now part of there. As the series goes on, you will see that the room kind of continue to expand with all the kind of stuff that they've been doing over time, which is kind of fun. As we mentioned, some of the episodes are shown out of order. So one of the cues that you're out of order is that the room has more stuff in it than it had before.
Hey, where'd that come from?
Right.
Chalk it up to time travel or setting shows out of sequence rather than time out of sequence.
Yeah, right.
Which really kind of fits with the program. If it
does,
if you go out of sequence, it's self-referential there.
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah. One of the brilliant things about the show.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting little episode here where the previous episode had brought up this idea with that Yuki had brought up that something's going on. Then in this episode is bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in that episode. Mm-hmm. The pacing was very rapid.
Yeah.
I was wondering initially when I saw the maid outfit if that was going to be another stunt.
Yeah. Kind of is, but
oh yeah, I guess. But they didn't hand out leaflets.
It's true. Yes. So. Yeah. Kind of an internal stunt, I suppose.
Internally.
Yeah. It's a very interesting episode. Lot of things moving forward.
I'm anxious to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Where will they go?
I know. And as Kyon ends by saying, "There's somebody I need to talk to," looking over at Yuki, because Yuki seems to be the most forthcoming of the three.
Now, are they? Do they know each other's backgrounds?
So
yet?
Here's the thing.
Does
so
can he tell each other about them if he can't tell her?
True. So the evidence we have so far, Mikuru is uncomfortable around Yuki.
Yeah.
So there's a strong implication that Mikuru knows that something's up with Yuki. Yuki hasn't revealed anything about the other two, but Koizumi said that how do you put it? I guess the other two have already talked to you.
Yeah,
explained things.
So it's like he knows already.
Yeah,
but as an Esper, I would have figured he should.
Well, true, exactly. Well, and also Koizumi is the first person we have now who is a member of a group. Yuki is apparently an alien sent by this entity. Mikuru appears to be more or less on her own, but Koizumi is an active member of this group of Espers.
Yeah,
which it's a little more.
But they all sort of say reference to us, and
they do. Yeah,
we as time travelers. We.
So so
I'm part of a larger organization. I'm the only one that can communicate. Okay.
I know. Yeah, it's very interesting. And the fact that they all have these little sleeper agents wandering around in this high school.
They're like ambassadors to the weird.
They are, yes.
Representative of their own flavor of phenomenon.
And Kyon started the show by saying, at some point I realized that none of these things existed, and I'm just going to have to live my life realizing that there are no aliens or espers or time travelers. And almost immediately is thrust into a situation where he gets all of that at once. Oh dear. Good old anime. If only life were like that.
Well, sometimes.
Right, hey, I've been meaning to talk to you. So actually, there's a reason to have glass and all this stuff around. I'm actually from the future. So there's Haruhi.
I'm a time traveler.
Yeah. Well, we're all technically time travelers.
Yeah, I just can't get it out of forward gear. I can slow it down, but I can't get into reverse yet.
Exactly. Yeah, got to get that figured out. All right, moving over to Yamada's first time. If we can get that.
Yamada's first time opened,
which may actually happen at some point here.
It's funny how they slip things in.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much going on in this show that
there is.
It's almost hard to cover it all.
Yeah.
You noticed something that I thought was really amusing. Magazines on the floor. in her room. That was whose room was it?
It was Kosuda's, I think, actually.
Yeah.
I may have gone too far.
How to
I did go too
H.
far. How to H. Yeah.
Was the name of the magazine. And then they cut to the classroom. And which one is it? To H.
Yeah. Yeah. The classroom is actually 2H. That's pretty hilarious.
So there.
Yeah, there it is. Oops. What the sorry.
Ooh,
that's weird.
Hey.
For some reason I decided to switch over to Haruhi there. We're experiencing technical difficulties beyond our control.
It's all that time travel.
Yeah, exactly.
Residual time travel.
Residual time travel energy.
It causes problems with the digital dust.
I see.
Any digital dust, we have to brush off the pixels and put them back in and repack the... Oh, there we see how to H.
Yes. I can tell from the pixels, having seen many Photoshops in my time. So poor Kosuda here is really feeling the stress. 2H. Here's how to H. The characters are all the boys are all trying to decide. So what
guy talk?
Yeah. Hey. So they've clearly gotten to this point where they realize things are going to have to move forward with Yamada. Yeah,
cute little Masada. What's her first time going to be like?
Just trying to imagine her. It's like, no way. She just speaks her mind the whole time.
That shot. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. They're all like horrified and disgusted. No. But Kosuda realizes that Yamada is going to be, if anything, worse in terms of her.
Oh, just her ordinary responses. Just imagine afterwards. And what's she doing? She's practicing in the mirror,
rejecting him.
How to reject him? Yeah. How to let him down and tell him that he wasn't as bad as he could be. He was bad, but not as bad as he could be.
Yeah. There's another episode where Yamada is a little tough to sympathize with.
Yeah.
She's pretty rough, but
she seems to confront some of her.
She does.
Her emotions.
By the end of the episode, again, it gets kind of interesting. So yeah, so Yamada again,
her guy.
she's a bit.
Wait, that wasn't her guy.
Not her guy. Off he goes, and again she's frustrated because he's not early enough.
She jumps the gun, and she's an hour early, and then she gets upset for him being late. But he hasn't come yet, so she grabs the first guy that.
And off they go.
My.
And back to the Kanajo family.
The Kanajo family with their strange sort of relationships.
Stuff. I love this scene. So
this is beautiful.
So we come back to Kosuda.
And he's known for missing his stop because he helped somebody.
Right.
So he helps some poor old lady who couldn't get out. But then not only does that happen, but then a little kid is lost again. And a pregnant lady brings her water.
And a German comes.
Then a foreigner comes and he can't find the station. It's like beyond a hat trick. There's 4 of them.
What is he going to do?
Perfect storm of lateness issues.
He's just too nice of a guy. Yamada.
She knows. Someone approaches her and I'm ready to.
What's going on?
Who did I just say I'm ready to go to a hotel?
Yeah. Oh, Keiichi Kanajo. Yeah.
Sparkly guy himself.
The sparkly guy.
Who wanted to get closer to her and she turned him down.
Right.
So she has just asked him about going to a hotel.
Whereupon
Kosuda shows up.
Yeah.
This guy.
So all 3 are together now. And Keiichi, to my kind of surprise and delight, says, I want to apologize for yesterday.
He's such a nice guy.
Yeah, he really is. And
he seems honest and genuine in some of his niceness.
Well, and this whole scene, very interestingly, for a while, he's very forthright and straightforward.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's got ulterior motives or that he's hiding anything. He's just interested in the girl, and he's kind of asking her what's going on. She leaves, and so he very kind of cleanly turns to Kosuda and says, "Okay, What's the deal?
What's the deal? Like, are you guys dating?
He's doing the honorable thing. He's not trying to cut in. He asks Kosuda straight up.
Yeah.
What's the deal with you guys?
Mm-hmm. And
Kosuda waffles.
Yeah, he's not sure. Yamada certainly has not been acting like a girlfriend.
At that point, he should have made a driven a stake in the ground and said, "We're together."
Yeah.
And he could have been vague about it.
True.
But he could have said it's us. But he kind of waffles, giving him room to pry in and have the opportunity to say, well, if you guys aren't an item,
right,
then I'm going to go for it.
Yeah. And again, I appreciate how Keiichi put it. He said, if that's true, I'm going to ask her out. That's okay, right?
And he's kind of pigeonholed there as not being in a relationship. So if he's not ready to make the decision, he ends up putting himself in the not position. And all the whole while, the peanut gallery in the booth across from them is making all sorts of comments.
It's hilarious. And Yamada's kind of pissed off because she figures, well, there's no way he's a virgin.
She calls him on that. That's kind of
right out loud. My gosh.
The booth next door. Like, did she just?
And so he decides to sort of change tack. But again, very forthright. Well, actually,
I am.
Yeah,
I do have my V card, which was an interesting one. There's this show has so many euphemisms.
True.
And it's incredible. I wonder what the original Japanese was, because some of these are obviously U.S. English euphemisms. Were they as colorful with all their euphemisms in Japanese?
Well, I'm going to assume to a great extent, because the language is all about kind of working your way around certain topics. So I'm sure there's a good amount of that.
It must have been quite an exercise translating, getting the intent of all these situations.
My gosh,
some creative input on both sides.
No kidding. So they kind of have it out for a little bit, and Yamada realizes, wait, this is pretty ideal.
Yeah. This guy's got his V card,
so to speak,
and he's got sparkles.
Yeah, not bad.
Maybe
he's right.
The seed of doubt is in her mind.
Exactly. And she realizes, well, this is kind of what it's all about, right? And so he stands up, even though he's been rejected by her. He still says basically, well, I hope you change your mind.
So he doesn't get nasty about it.
No. And
he leaves her room to follow up with him.
Yeah, and she picks up on that. She realizes, wow, even with that,
he's a good guy. He really is. He gives an out for people, which is he doesn't paint them into a corner.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty nice.
Yeah.
So off they go.
Oh, I smell a hot guy.
Oh, and she comes.
It's you.
Which kind of splits up the party, because okay, that's that. The poor Kosuda goes off and says, I thought we were going to do the deed today, and it didn't get anywhere near that. And Yamada's just ready to kill Misato. So back to the Kanajo family, where Keiichi drops the bombshell, and he explains to his sister that he actually asked out Yamada.
And she's out for 3 days.
She's out for 3 days.
She wakes up. Oh, it was a dream. No.
And down she goes again.
Down for the count.
Love the silliness of this. And that weird little side story with the guys. So Yamada's friend is pretty pissed off with her at this point.
Yeah.
That she's acted pretty badly. And is kind of trying to convince Yamada what to do. And actually, so here's where things start to take an interesting turn, because she finally kind of gets to that point where she says, well, wait a minute. Wait. Yeah. Love the animation in this scene. But she points out that, hey, wait a minute. If you rejected the guy and he has his V card, so to speak, that must mean there's something that you feel something about Kosuda. And you got to admit the fact.
It's a powerful point.
Yeah.
Very powerful point.
So something to the point where it resets.
The point where she's rebooted to her last save point.
Last save point.
Nice little reference there.
Back she comes. So
her last save point. Yamada rebooted.
Yamada reloaded. So now so now it's on. So Kanajo's like, all right, I've always wanted
to take the boyfriend and use him and throw him away like a used tissue.
Totally. She's ready. And so she goes to Miyano, the childhood friend.
Childhood friend. The strongest bond.
Yeah.
They know each other. They have history.
Mm-hmm. And the poor girl is stuck in the middle. Because what is she going to say? And of course she's not. And finally we have
her little voice.
Yes. Her cute little,
go for it.
Little innocent voice. She's adorable.
Give her good advice.
And she starts talking about
I can't help but root for her. She's so sweet.
Sure. Well, we had this interesting thing where we were watching this and we turned to each other and said, we kind of want them to get up together.
Yeah, yeah, because Yamada has her ulterior motive.
Yeah.
But for her, any guy would do.
Right.
And she has another option.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's interested.
Yeah.
The other option is interested.
Exactly.
And it wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair to Kosada to just be used, especially after he's trying to be straightforward and honest, even though he's not always good at expressing it. It seems like it would work out better if everybody. Sure, the only person who would lose would be the gal with her. What's her name? The one the sister.
Keiichi's sister.
Suddenly, my brain fart. Kanajo, Miss Kanajo.
Oh yeah.
What's her first name?
I do not remember.
I can't remember.
They all call her Kanajo.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
But she's the only one who would lose out if.
Well, but she would lose out on her brother. I'm okay with that.
She's gonna lose no matter what
right,
happens.
Exactly.
There's no way for her to win.
Yeah, I'm fine with her losing out on
her ulterior motives are all twisted. Even if she does have sparkle, she doesn't have the honest benevolence in mind. So there's no way she can win.
Yeah, no. And we have this lovely scene between Miyano and Kosada, where they finally sit down and talk for a while, and they have a very nice conversation about what they should do, what Kosada should do, and I think they have a moment, where
a heart to heart. They're actually expressing, and you can see their reaction as they get their heart hit with the arrows. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, there's a great There's a great it's so cute. There's a great line that Miyano says, where she says, "I'm sure Yamada will confess eventually. How could she not?" And considering who's saying that, sure hope at some point she will.
Yeah.
So
that would be a victory.
Yeah, it sure would. Absolutely.
The unexpressed, unrequited love finally coming through.
Yeah. So Kanajo finally makes her move and starts talking to Kosada, although she doesn't care one whit about the conversation. But she finally kind of traps Kosada into stopping by, because apparently her brother is into photography, or at least she claims that. And Yamada doesn't want to have anything. She's ready to just throttle her, but not much she can do at this point, because there's the limo, the stream
stretch limo with the rows of guys to encourage him to get in.
Yes.
How can you turn that down? Of course, Yamada sees all this.
Yep. This can't end well. So he finally goes to the mansion and
rows of servants. Hello.
Yes.
Welcome home.
And
she seduces him, or tries to.
Indeed. And she's really going for the gutso here.
She's using her sparkle.
Well, and she immediately comes down and sits down right next to him, which is fairly forward to begin with. And then she decides to
hike up clothing.
Hike up her dress.
This was great. All of a sudden, steam heats.
Yeah, she's overheating.
Steam.
And then she puts her foot on the couch.
And of course, this is the time that somebody always walks into the room.
Right. And what happens? Somebody walks into the room. And they're all a little shocked. And so we get a little breather there.
Goes into there.
Horrified. So
help me.
Help me. And,
me.
She knows. She knows.
And suddenly something comes into the room.
The tiger crawls through a window.
Flaming tiger.
And it's Yamada. She's not having this.
And all you can think,
and I do love, and getting back to kind of the imagery here, how the they're willing to go so far as to just have literally show tiger in the window, which resolves itself into Yamada. That's kind of what's going on there. She even has a rope around one shoulder.
She's very motivated. That's a big yard to cross. That's a lot of security gates. All the way up to the mansion, on top of a mansion. And she takes him out.
She takes him out. Yes, that's it.
He is out of the room.
So they have a little bit of a heart-to-heart here.
She's almost ready to admit.
What?
That she likes him.
Wow. That's quite the statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And she pulls out.
She pulls out a gun.
Figuratively.
Yes. But she's a little, well, and she is somewhat justifiably angry here.
Yeah.
Because it points out that he's just gone alone to another girl's
If they
room.
really are an item, what's he doing over there?
Right. And he's
what's his excuse? And so it's a cliffhanger there. I mean, she's well, how's he gonna get out of this?
Yeah. And what's Yamada gonna do?
Is she gonna call him on the carpet and say, fish or cut bait? I mean, is she gonna let it slide? I don't know how she could. Is she gonna plot a revenge on who?
Well, and that's the thing, is that maybe it's time for Yamada to finally take the next step and just really commit to this relationship.
She's got to commit, or she's got to change. I think.
She does.
And this was episode 10, I think.
Yeah,
so
2 more.
She hasn't got much time to get 100 guys.
Very much so.
If she's gonna reach her goal.
And as her friend points out, if you really wanted to do that, there are a lot of other guys that you would be pursuing at this point.
Yeah. So she seems to have some values. She wants a virgin. So the V card is very important for her.
Indeed.
But after that first V card, is that going to be important to her, or is?
Well, and the other thing is that the only reason she wants a virgin is that she doesn't look silly. I mean, it's a
for
rather
self-edification,
vain, thing. So once that's taken care of, I don't know that she's going to have a lot more standards, if you will.
So maybe without those standards, she'll show less restraint.
Who knows? Boy, that's a scary thought, isn't it?
Because she doesn't have much.
She sure doesn't.
Restraint. The only restraint she has is misguided restraint.
This is true. Not
being able to express her emotions properly.
Yeah.
Expressing them in almost the reverse pattern.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very.
I think that's
strong.
what makes her angry. She doesn't know how to express except for anger.
Yeah.
When it comes to that. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was an interesting term that the guys who were having their chat used this time around, TILF. I've heard of MILF, but I hadn't heard of TILF. It's a natural extension of the concept.
Speaking of a teacher.
Their gym teacher.
Gym teacher.
Hot for teacher.
Hot for teacher.
Van Halen would say.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that this show I think does pretty well is show what sort of those high school kind of locker room conversations tend to be like.
Well, I think most guys go through school and have one teacher that they're thinking,
yeah,
especially with all the turbulence of hormones.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, we're getting close to the end of Yamada. My gosh,
no.
We've been chugging through this
I've been
series.
laughing so hard on this.
Yeah, it's been a really great one. It's gonna be tough when we move on to something else.
So their use of euphemism, metaphor, and just the way that they approach concepts
yeah
is different. It's not as literal. It's very figurative.
Yeah.
And that really sets this series apart from most series. Now, I've seen some other series use those techniques, but this one uses it in a particularly effective manner in dealing with the concepts that may have been lost in translation had somebody not taken the time to use English-based euphemisms to come to the concept, and
exactly
the animation just adds to that.
And other comedies will tend to have a certain amount of metaphor and euphemisms and such, but they're usually sort of done outside of kind of the reality of the story, whereas they're much more integrated in Yamada.
It kind of reminds me, High School Rumble had some good ways of taking it into those areas as well. Another using that technique that seemed pretty effective.
Cool, nice. That's one of those series I'm trying to pick up, but it's the DVDs have gone way out of print. It's really hard to find nowadays. Cool. Yeah.
I think I watched it streaming until my internet connection was too slow. 1 minute watch, 5 minute buffer, 1 minute watch. No.
So that is Yamada's first time. So we'll be back next week with the penultimate episode of Yamada and a bit more of Haruhi.
Oh.
Yeah, exciting.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's move on to the news, shall we?
The news.
All right.
It's time.
Time for the news. And I believe you have news on the tablet there.
And wake up.
Should be a button somewhere. There we go. And just slide that up. Yep. Or anyway, it should. Oh, hello. What's going on there? What did it do? Oh, it just took forever. Never mind.
I got into camera mode. Yeah. Picture that, everybody.
Picture that.
Horizons.
Yes. Nice. Okay, let me pull that up over here. There we go. Cool. We have that up. We have that up. All right.
Do we have it open?
Oh, that's a good point.
Horizons.
You should. Where is my thing? Pull up the thing.
As coming to you from around the world, down the street, and in your backyard, it's the news.
Oops. We'll use this. That's even easier.
The news you can use.
And I got to remember to pull down the audio on this because I actually rendered it out really loud. See?
Horizons. The news show. Brought to you by
us.
Brent and Evan. When news breaks,
we fix it. All right.
So, news for 16th of June, 2015. One Piece has officially won a Guinness World Record.
Wow.
The manga has set the record for most copies published for the same comic book series by a single author at 320,866,000 copies.
Wow.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
The manga's author, Ichiro Oda, published an acknowledgement on his blog.
Awesome. New visuals have been revealed for the new Dragon Ball Z series, Dragon Ball Super. Besides all the standard characters like Goku, Vegeta, Bulma, Piccolo, Krillin, and Trunks. Actually, let me see if I can pull up the image here real quick while I'm doing this. The visual also shows, I believe they're called Whis and Beerus from, there it is, which are from one of the Dragon Ball movies. Oh, actually from different Dragon Ball Z films. But the shocker is the image also shows two new characters who look similar to them. So we see in that shot characters who are quite similar to those original characters, but are some variations on the characters. Very interesting.
Variation on a theme.
Yeah. So apparently pulling in characters from the movies for the new TV series. The show is still planning to premiere July 5th in Japan.
Let's see. Studio Ghibli's latest movie, When Marnie Was There, earned $77,000 last week. Only 77,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's a limited release.
Oh, limited release. Yeah. In its 3 weeks in theaters, it now grossed $186,000. The film will be opening in even more theaters over the coming weeks. Please check your local listings.
Definitely.
And show up.
Yeah. It's
I'd like to see that. Is it showing in
DC?
Our neighborhood?
Yeah.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah. If you want more creepy horror in your life, look no further than the forthcoming anime series from ILCA. That's the studio behind Yamishibai Japanese Ghost Stories and the CGI on Love Live. Kurayami Santa is set in Kyushu in the 1960s, and it's actually made to look like a black and white anime series from the 1960s. Yeah, isn't that amazing? The show centers on a demon boy who maintains the barrier between hell and the human world. The second horror series, Koabon, will be made entirely with rotoscoped CGI. So they're actually filming actors and then putting CGI on top of it. And its stated theme is, quote, bondage and stylish horror, end quote.
That sounds creepy.
No kidding.
Gotta check that out. Now, a follow-up story from last week in which Chinese Ministry of Culture blacklisted a number of anime franchises in China. Attack on Titan was one of them. And a screening of Attack on Titan planned for last weekend was canceled.
Yep.
The screening was part of a Japan Film Week event at Shanghai International Film Festival.
Yep. So it certainly is going into effect.
Oh my, those Chinese censor one thing, but then pull down our government. What's going on here?
Pretty scary.
Okay.
All right. So moving on to anime conventions. BotCon is this weekend at the Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles, Illinois. It's a Transformers-themed convention that's been running since 1994. So quite a long time, 2 decades.
Wow.
It's pretty big. So if you like Transformers and you get to the Illinois area, head on out there.
CosplayCon, June 18th through 21st at Capitol Plaza Hotel. And that's Jefferson City, Montana? Is that?
Missouri?
Missouri?
I think it's Missouri.
Missouri?
I'm not sure. Jefferson City, Missouri. I think it's Missouri.
Missouri.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's a con for cosplay.
Should yield some interesting photos.
Definitely. Yeah. Keep an eye out for that. Anime Mid-Atlantic is this weekend at the Chesapeake Conference Center in Chesapeake, Virginia. It's been running since 2001. Pretty big con. Guests include Chris Cason, voice actor, director, and writer at Funimation. Charles Dunbar, an anime anthropologist. Amy Howard Wilson, the voice actress. And Danielle McRae, Vic Mignogna, both voice actors. Yeah, it's Vic. And Rennie Mimura, the singer, will be there as well.
BayouCon will be occurring at West Cal Event Center, Sulphur, LA.
That's Louisiana.
That's Louisiana.
Yeah.
La. Sulphur La. Let's see. Guests are the D20 Girls Project, gamers. Todd Habercorn is going to be there. He's a voice actor. And Sonia Thompson.
Cool. QCon, moving outside of the U.S. for a bit, QCon will be held at Queen's University Belfast in Belfast, Northern Ireland,
UK.
in the UK this weekend. So if you're in the Irish area, head on up to QCon, why don't you?
Sodak. Sodak. Rushmore Plaza Civic Center.
In Rapid City,
South Dakota.
Sodak.
Yeah.
Took me a while to figure it out.
South Dakota. Sodak. Oh, okay. Sneaky. Haha. They worked that in there. Who's going to be there is Chris Bevins. And he does all sorts of things. Voice acting, directing, line producer, and Funimation.
Cool.
Entertainment guy. Carl Martin, cosplayer, Shinka Studios. Wendy Powell, voice actress. Tom Rash, artist. And Rachel Robinson is going to be featured there as well. Awesome.
Then the Supernova Pop Culture Expo Sydney, 3 guesses where that's going to be. The Sydney Olympic Park in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Been going since 2001. Guests include Adam Baldwin. Yes, that Adam Baldwin. Wow. Kristen Bauer Van Straten, Nathan Fillion. Dean Haglund, Walter E. Jones, Austin St. John, Eric Stewart, and Veronica Taylor. So a nice wide variety of folks there. But they're also pretty anime focused as well.
No worries, mate.
Yep.
Fiera Mundo Anime, Santo Domingo, June 20th through 21st at Central Cultural Mauricio Baez.
Looks like.
And Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's going to be like.
No kidding. And then finally, I think it's going to be pronounced Weihmaikai in Bürgerhauskastel, Wiesbaden, Germany. So if you're heading up to, if you're in
that sounds like a castle.
It sure does.
We're going to have an anime fest in a castle.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Pretty cool. This weekend in, again, in Wiesbaden, Germany. So head on up there. Moving on to Kickstarters for, why is that not? Oh, there it is. Sorry. Kickstarters for the week. The first one would probably be mine, actually.
Yes.
So we launched the Otaku Brain today, actually. This is a Kickstarter for a convention that I'll be running in February, assuming we get all of the funding for it. We're asking for just over $5,000 to fund the convention, and it's going to be a panel-focused convention of academics and others who are coming to talk about interesting things about anime and manga. So head over to Kickstarter, look for Otaku Brain Trust, and $35 gets you a badge. Lower support levels gets you access to videos. All the panels will be video recorded and provided online, thanks to this guy. And
recommend it to a friend.
Recommend it to a friend. Post it out to social media as much as you can, because this is a chance to actually do an anime convention focused on sort of intellectual analysis of anime, and actually get that kind of stuff.
Plus, you can be ground level entry.
Right. First year of a con.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that.
20 years from now.
Yeah. And it's also
I went to the first one.
Right. It's also kind of the Otaku no Video / Smoke and Mirrors meetup. So if you want to meet me in person, that's a great chance. Both of us will be there. So that'd be a pretty good thing. Other Kickstarters, Asterion is a new one that came up this week. Pollux Animation, a French animation studio, has launched a Kickstarter for a French-Japanese co-production of a 13-episode anime series. They're looking to raise about $151,000 by the end of July, so it's a good ways away. They plan to make an interactive anime series, so to speak.
Interactive?
Each episode will include 3 decision points. And based on the viewer's choices, the story will go in different ways. Kind of like a visual novel.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah. The character designer and chief animator, Hiroshi Shimizu, worked on Michiko and Hachin and the Lupin III Fujiko Mine series. The director of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and the art director for Berserk, The Castle of Cagliostro, Nadam Cantabile, and Utena are also involved in various roles. So that is, again, Asterion, the Kickstarter.
Anime Monthly. The poor Anime Monthly Kickstarter is still only $3 out of its $2,000 that it wants to produce the anime magazine.
Yeah.
3 days to go on that one.
Oh, boy. Here's hoping.
Yeah.
Animego's Kickstarter for Otaku no Video, again, the actual animation, is now at $79,000 as of this recording. That's double its goal with 2 weeks still remaining. So that's cool. $25 gets you the Blu-ray shipped anywhere in the world except Japan. Again, Otaku no Video.
Anywhere except Japan. Let's see. Inform Otaku.
Yeah.
The Inform Otaku Kickstarter is, let's see, to get more convention coverage is still only $5 out of its goal of $1,800. Again, the entire pitch is I can upload more videos from conventions like this one if I can get funded to get proper equipment. 26 days to go on that one.
Oh boy, that's a tough one. Moving on to anime releases. Yeah, so
releases.
Yay! So Pony Canyon USA has released Yuki Yuna is a Hero Collector's Edition 2. This is 4 episodes on Blu-ray DVD combo for $89.98, about $90. Again, that's MSRP, so it'll be quite lower than that online.
Disney has Spirited Away, Blu-ray and DVD combo for $36.99.
Cool.
They also have Cat Returns on Blu-ray and DVD combo for the same price, $36.99.
Nice. For those keeping track at home, The Cat Returns is kind of a sequel to Whisper of the Heart, the earlier Studio Ghibli films. If you've seen that, check out The Cat Returns. Funimation has released Is This a Zombie of the Dead complete collection. This is the second season of the Is This a Zombie Blu-ray DVD combo pack, anime classic, 12 episodes, $49.98. So it'd be probably about $35 retail.
Sentai Filmworks, Captain Earth, Collection 1 DVD, 13 episodes, subtitled.
Okay.
And that's for $49.98.
Cool.
And they've also come out with the Blu-ray version.
Nice.
And that's $59.98.
Oh, $10
$10
more.
more, yeah. Might as well if you have a Blu-ray player.
Exactly. Not too bad. Not too bad. Cool. Yep. So that is all the anime this week. Thanks as always to the DVD Talk Forum for anime releases, Kickstarter for the Kickstarters, AnimeCons.com for the conventions, and Anime News Network for all of the anime news. And that is it for Horizons. Thank you all very much.
Dun, 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 dun.
Again, we need some kind of, exit music at some point. Right?
Shuffle
at some point, I think
shuffle paper.
They think we just take two sheets and just flip them back and forth and back and forth.
You got to straighten them and then then straighten them again.
Cool. All right. So that's that. So let's move over to the chat room and see what folks have been talking about. A lot of stuff to see what folks have. Other anime channels: Anime Abandoned, The Anime Man, Uber Hikari, Giga Frosty, and Bob Samurai. Do you watch other anime YouTube channels?
I'd like to, if I can find some good ones.
Yeah.
Life sometimes gets very busy.
Right. Yeah. Let's see here. Chat looks different. Google interface update.
Yeah.
E3. Yeah. Who won E3? I don't know. I think HoloLens looks really awesome.
Oh, HoloLens.
Yes. It's their artificial reality glasses. Yeah.
That does seem neat.
New games coming out. That's cool.
What is
New
it,
Zelda
Bethesda?
games. Yeah.
Bethesda GameWorks.
Fallout 4. Okay. Fair enough. I think there's actually going to be some very interesting gaming applications for HoloLens. Just very different games. You can do some really interesting augmented stuff with that. Played any Lego games? I have not. No. I'd like to though. They look like a lot of fun. Wasn't Haruhi out by the time we started seeing that Moe anime style craze hitting the mainstream? I would say actually it came out after it hit the mainstream. So Moe was a huge thing, and Haruhi came out right as that was kind of peaking and kind of going back down.
When did Haruhi come out? Was
either 2006 or 2008. Let me find out. But Haruhi was kind of the first big. Let me see here. The anime was 2006. It was the first anime series I know of to really make fun of Moe in a direct way. Getting the Star Wars games. Yeah, Jurassic World's getting a Lego game. Lego seems to be pretty well connected with all the franchises, so they're bringing out the games pretty quickly. Anyone seen Jurassic World? I have not. Have you? No.
Not yet.
Mixed feelings. Yeah, mixed reviews. I don't know. I think it's again one of those movies that's gonna have a lot of hype.
I don't know. I try and suspend my hearing of any reviews until I see it, because I've gotten some reviews that I went in and because the review was bad, I had a bad attitude, but it was a great movie. And I think I would have enjoyed it more if I'd gone in as a blank slate and made my own decisions.
Totally.
And then compared them to the reviews. So I try not to listen to reviews until I've heard the original.
Me neither.
And then I say, oh yeah. I didn't realize that during the show, but that was too much of this or that, or this was an excellent part, and I didn't realize how great it was. Now that they're pointing out that, that much went into making this.
Yeah. I saw The Lost World I saw the third Jurassic Park film in theaters, and it was like the first week it was out, and there were like 2 other people in the theaters.
Really?
Just nobody went to see it.
Wow.
It was one of those things, I think, where just the opening weekend reviews had gotten around, and just folks weren't trying it.
Well, I suppose theater attendance has really disappeared over the years as everybody has streaming media.
Yeah.
The video store has disappeared now for the most part. There's a few mom and pop shops here and there, but everything's done online.
Yeah. Yeah. So Crichton wrote Jurassic World. Well, he wrote various stuff in there, kind of because of the movie. What's going on? Yeah, there we go. But I mean, Crichton's quite the writer. I mean, he does a lot of writing, so I don't think it was that big of a difficulty for him. Yeah, Calvin Hobbes. Yeah, the Jurassic Park book is quite different from the movie. Not massively, but it's significantly different. I actually read that, I think, after the movie came out, which is usually a good way of doing it. Watch the movie, then go back and read the book, because then you're not disappointed.
That seems like a good approach.
Yeah. Yeah, Tenchi's a good example where there's lots of different timelines and such. So you can rework story arcs if you want to. Soul Eater did that too. And then of course Naruto and One Piece and such are kind of different because you have the manga and the anime, but the anime tends to diverge at some point. So the anime kind of tell its own story to an extent. Should manga anime express more ethnic characters? There's a lack of these sorts of characters. How do you define ethnic?
It would be interesting. The problem is doing that without stereotyping. So there's a few shows that do it well. They portray somebody from specific parts of the world. First as a human being and not a stereotype.
Yeah.
And then you can see some of the cultural flavor that they bring to the story. Others, it looks like sometimes the animators haven't done as much research.
Yeah.
and they're playing off of generalization.
Well, the other difficulty too is that so much anime is either it's about Japanese high schoolers, basically. That's definitely a Japanese high school or whatever, or it's fantasy, and so you can decide that what is the ethnicity of those people, and to the point previously, somebody made the good point that Coolio, you're right. There's a massive lack of ethnic diversity in Japan.
It's pretty much considered itself a homogenous nation for so many years. That was foreigners were kind of turned away kind of points in the history,
or crucified.
They went through their periods of trying to keep to themselves, so that has a tendency to make culture follow its own characteristics rather than diversifying.
I don't know. I think I have a difficult time saying that this other culture should be this ethnically diverse or should express diversity in this way. I think it's more up to the culture than it is to us to say how you should behave in that way.
I wonder if we saw more anime with characters going abroad.
Yeah, true.
It would be interesting. I like seeing some of the stories where we see a character who's lived in another country and then returned.
Yeah.
For example, Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad.
Yeah, great example.
The having lived in the States and how it impacts their life coming back to Japan.
And in fairness, I mean, that takes a lot of time and expense and effort to do the research to do. I remember when for Full Metal Panic, they have the Full Metal Panic: The Second Raid is set in Hong Kong, and so they all flew over to Hong Kong and spent time there looking around and photographing it to see what it would be like, and that's expensive, and it takes up a lot of time. So I think it's wise to not push for ethnic diversity in a time-strapped anime series where you're not going to be able to represent it well.
If it occurs organically, naturally, it has a better feel to it.
Yeah, there was an anime series that came out called Girl Power. I'm going to see when it was, because it was, of course, there are lots of different versions of that, but it came out in 2004. And one of the girls is mute. So it's about a couple of orphan girls who kind of do odd jobs. And so actually, no, she's mute, so they all use sign language with each other.
Oh, wow.
And they said this is, as far as we know, the first time a character who uses sign language has ever appeared in animation.
That's
in Japanese anime, rather. And they kind of talked about each other. What, really? You know, the first time sign language has ever been used. Yeah, because it's expensive.
Oh, yeah, you know? Animating.
Yeah, and animating all the hands, and then teaching everyone how to do that, what it should look. You know,
they have to know sign language to be able to even approach the idea of doing the hands.
Right, and he said it's why you rarely see characters in wheelchairs.
That sounds very groundbreaking from an animation standpoint, because now you have to develop a narrative style for how this person is using their sign language. And then is it American Sign Language, ASL, or is it there's a number of different other sign languages as well. And
then how do you get that across to the audience that can't read sign language? You know, it's very interesting. But yeah, it's a good example of where going outside your comfort zone can be very difficult to do in animation. And Nadi is a good example of a show that manages a non-Japanese character rather well. And actually, most of the characters there are not Japanese.
I'm trying to remember what was the storyline in that. I don't know if I've seen that. Sounds familiar.
If I'm going to pull up art, so it's dark-skinned girl works in a circus, and a boy appears. He's an image of that. Of course not. Boy shows up. They're not going to be Zoom either, and kind of rescues her, and they go off on adventures.
Cool.
Fun series, but by Gainax. There's a certain amount of fan service in it, but there's only so much of that you can get away with or avoid with Gainax. School Rumble was the one where the DVDs were out of print and kind of hard to find. Last I checked. So are there anime series that you watch based on the season? You feel like it's summer, I should watch this anime series because it reminds me of the summer. That's a good question. There is one of those for me. Do you have one?
I'm thinking about it. Let's see. I kind of like School Rumble in the summer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go.
But and Lane in the fall.
Nice.
For some reason, I like Lane in the fall.
Interesting. Gosh, I hate all these sites that won't let you just go straight to the image. It's just
they make it a little harder now to.
Yeah, to just go to the image. Can I just see the? Oh, there we go. Yeah, mine is Nia Under 7, anime series by the makers of Lane, the show they made right after Lane, as their kind of fun. We're just gonna relax kind of show, and it's at I think mostly in the summer, and a lot of characters laying around in the heat, complaining about how hot it is.
You know, I think I go with a genre rather than a particular anime. I like slice of life stories over the summer. In the fall, winter, early spring, I like something that distracts me from life, like anything far-fetched fantasy like.
Yeah.
I'd have to say a genre. Slice of life is fun during the summer.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Especially when I'm seeing another culture. Oh, yeah. Everybody's going to the beach.
And I think I like comedies in winter. Because you can just, wrap yourself up, watch a couple episodes of a goofy comedy, and just kind of enjoy. Somebody asked, Coolio asked, is Right Stuff worth it if you're not in the U.S.? Their international shipping rates are relatively expensive, but I think you're going to find that pretty much anywhere. Amazon's probably going to be cheaper. But beyond Amazon, probably Right Stuf is going to be the next best. It's just hard to beat Amazon. They have so many contracts.
If with some of these releases, they're sold everywhere except Japan.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if somebody bought it in the U.S. and then shipped it to Japan? Would they confiscate it? Would it be an illegal import?
Not technically. I mean, it depends on what happens to it when it gets to Japan. I mean, if you're buying a personal copy and then
hey, everybody, I'm coming to Japan. Load me up. What do you want?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know,
I'm gonna come in with my collection.
If you buy it for yourself and then you're shipping it to your address in Japan because you're going to be living there, that's fine. But if you buy 100 copies, and then
that would be a telltale sign of import-export violation there.
Yeah, I think that's more the issue.
I'm mailing this to my good friend. Yeah, I'm sure I got his name here somewhere.
Yeah. Right. I will say, much as I love Amazon, and again, I used to work for Amazon. If you can support Right Stuf, please do so, because they are actual anime fans. Right Stuf was founded by anime fans. It is still an anime fan-run company, and so you're supporting other fans.
That's good.
So that's a cool thing, and they actually have relationships with voice actors and such. So it's definitely worth it. It's having some weird scrolling issues because of things.
I saw something about characters. I don't know.
Let's see here. Is Right Stuf worth it? Canada shipping rate. Yeah, and sometimes you can only buy it on Right Stuf because of shipping deals outside of Japan.
Yeah, it's funny how things are regionalized. Something will be released one way in the U.S., differently in Europe, differently in Japan.
Yeah. Studio Ghibli is not shutting down. Studio Ghibli basically let go of their animation staff. Ghibli basically announced that they are, for the time being, they're going to stop making movies. They're going to continue licensing and doing stuff for their existing properties, and all of their primary creative staff, if you will stay on. So Miyazaki and the rest are still there.
They're not getting rid of their creative.
They're not getting rid of their creative stuff. Yeah,
it sounded like they were going just business.
Yeah,
now.
Well, Hayao Miyazaki's still coming into work every day. Takahata's still coming into work every day. All those folks still coming to work every day. They basically said, we've been inventing reasons to make movies for years now. We're kind of done with that. We don't feel a need to keep making movies constantly. In fact, one of the producers at Ghibli just announced this past week that he's starting his own anime studio.
Wow!
Because he's built up the experience. He's like, okay, now I can start doing that myself. They have not said basically. Well, Miyazaki announced his retirement for the 7th time.
Oh, so 7th time.
So they basically said, we're not saying we will never produce an animated work in the future. It's just trying to keep this entire staff employed all the time is just too much work. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. So if they ever wanted to make something new, they could always just hire new staff and move forward with that.
Wow, the trickiness.
Yeah, it's really tough.
So if they're gonna steep their creative juices a little bit longer, and they're not planning on movies, are they going to go to serials? Or?
Probably. Well, the most recent thing was a serial, Ronya, which is a sort of D&D, a more medieval fantasy kind of a series, which is very interesting. I've seen a couple episodes of that, and it's all CGI. So they've done some of that stuff, but there's not. I think again, it's one of those things where if the right project comes along, they'll do it, but they're not really thinking about doing much original animation.
Oh, I wish they'd do a whole bunch of classical stories from Asia. Yeah, because that's something that we in the West don't really get growing up. We get Grimm's fairy tales and Mother Goose and all that good stuff, but we don't hear as many stories from Asia, and I'm sure there's whole canon of things that kids grow up learning and hearing.
Well, and one of the unfortunate things is that there were a lot of those animated back in the 60s and 70s and into the 80s. There was a series called World Masterpiece Theater. I don't know if you heard of that.
Masterpiece Theater.
It was a series. It was a series of anime series, if you will, where every year Toei Animation would come out with a new anime series based on a classic children's novel or series or story or so forth. They did Anne of Green Gables and things like that.
Oh yeah.
And so among the things that they were adapted within that were some of these classic Japanese myths and stories. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of those Ghibli guys, because they grew up either, well, a lot of them grew up actually drawing and making those shows. Like that was their bread and butter. So they think, well, those have already been done. They've already been adapted. I was like, that was 40 years ago.
Yeah,
you know,
we could.
I don't think folks are going back and watching those.
The techniques are different.
Yeah,
finding them.
Yeah. Let's see here. Do I read DC or Marvel comics? No. Nothing against them. Just
I used to.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. In a galaxy far, far away.
Ask him. Talk to him. He would know the characters at least. I really wouldn't.
Vaguely.
So Hideo Kojima is leaving Konami. Fair enough. Has there ever been an anime you know where an important member leaving the project has affected the production and final product? Yeah, certainly. There have been cases. Lupin III is a good example, where Hayao Miyazaki worked on that for a long time, and the animation on that was known to be high quality. And when he left, the animation quality was noticeably different. It wasn't horrible, but you could tell that Miyazaki wasn't working on it anymore. So that happens. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, well, so obviously it happened with well, no. See, Lucky Star, the director left, but I don't think there was a significant change in the quality. I don't know. I can't think of any others where that's happened. And there's been a noticeable effect. People generally don't leave projects, anime projects, partway through, or franchises.
I suppose if there were a death or...
Sure. Oh, thank you. Yes. Gundam 8th MS Team. The director passed away, sadly.
Wow.
During production of that, because it was a multi-year project, and so they brought in a different director to do it, and he was amazing. The new director upped the ante in terms of the quality and so forth and so on. And I think it was partly because he was trying to complete this work that had been started, and he really wanted to honor it.
Do honor, yeah.
But the animation on the last few episodes are almost another level beyond the animation of the rest of the series. It's gorgeous, gorgeous work. So that was a positive example for the final product. Has a product like a game, movie, or anime that you wanted to see happen but then got canceled? It can be a new thing or a running series that got canceled. Yes, absolutely. So the one we talked about before was Mighty Space Miners, where it was a 3-episode OVA and they only made 2 episodes and they ran out of money.
I think Moonlight Mile has just the first season.
That's right. I heard about that.
And so that's another one that I'm not sure if it was released. But yeah, I think it was just 1 season with the second one intended.
Yeah.
And leaving a story with loose ends is, you want some closure. I mean, anime never completely gives you full closure on everything, but there are certain things that you can tell, hey, wait, you don't end on a cliffhanger usually.
Exactly. I mean, the other side of that coin too is that there are a lot of things where it ended at a point where I wanted to know what happened afterwards.
More closure.
But I was okay with where they ended.
Epilogue.
Where I mean, for me, a lot of shows. Lane's a good example where it ends and there's a lot of questions still to be answered. But I don't want a second season of Lane. As interesting as it would be,
it wouldn't. Yeah,
it's just not right.
It wouldn't hold the same magic.
Exactly. 3x3 Eyes. I love that, and it ends on this huge sort of emotional cliffhanger. But that's the point. I'm kind of going. It got canceled. I'm skimming through real quick to see if there's anything. I don't see anything obvious. Nadia's storyline was kind of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ish. Konami changes around. Oops. What happened there? What do I think of Discotheque? I don't know. They release stuff. Yeah. I have no strong opinions one way or the other about Discotheque.
Discotheque?
What's... Yeah, anime licensor and releaser. So
for U.S. distribution.
U.S. distribution. Generally low budget. Been around for quite a while. And they do live action stuff too. So they did. What are some good examples? Do they have just? They've done some Lupin stuff, obviously.
Out of print.
Yeah.
Out of print.
Fit to the North Star. Let's see what else.
Yeah.
Project Echo. Oh, Galaxy Express. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. DNA Angel. Panda Go Panda, which is an early Hayao Miyazaki work. Kassan, I think. Just other sort of random stuff like that. Gunbuster. New Gunbuster. Harlock. So other stuff like that. Some more classic stuff. Blue Sub 6. Cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad they're there because they bring out a lot of stuff that folks wouldn't otherwise bring out. Kind of the more, I want to say even niche, but stuff that's just kind of hard to find that audience for. Cardcaptor Sakura, Monster Rancher.
What is that?
Itakiss.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think I've seen
cool.
part of that many years back.
Mazinger, Dragon Half, Horse Prince of the Sun. I'm very glad they brought that one out because that's an important early anime film.
Wow.
So
that seems like good company to know.
Yeah. I mean, Masa's Closet, I actually agree with that assessment that Lucky Star got better when the Haruhi director left. I don't think he got Lucky Star as well as the new director did. Nothing against him. I think it gelled more afterwards. There was some weird stuff in those first 4 episodes. It just didn't really pull things together. Yeah,
Galaxy Express. I love Galaxy Express too.
It's an amazing thing.
That's one of those series that kind of got me into anime. The movie initially, and then I followed up with the different bits of the franchise, and I haven't completely explored all of it yet. But
and for in fairness, Liquidus, I believe he was talking about fans on Tuchan. Specifically, so that fandom on that site, which is a fairly one
of the Chan sites.
Yeah, the original Chan.
Chan. Yeah.
So
there's many Chans now.
Indeed, there are. So that was and I think we've all been on a Chan at some point and agreed with that assessment.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we'd better head out for the night. We've been chugging along for a while here. So thank you all very much for joining us, and appreciate it. And we will be back next week. Let me check the calendars, see what our plan is for. I think we're doing this again next week. I want to double check on that one. Yep, next Tuesday, episode 11. So more of Haruhi and Yamada next week. And then same thing the week after. And then this Friday, we talk about Comiket on Culture Shock.
Comiket.
Yes. So you'll see all about that. We have some photos of Comiket and so forth. Should be fun. So
are we going to have an open
Gundam style?
We might.
Anytime
soon,
we'll see how things go with recording.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
We'll build on that.
Yes. we will see. So keep your eyes open for more streams. Cool. All right. Thank you all very much.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Take care. See you all next week.
Have a good night.